According to legend, it is the result of a ritual, a woman who seeks eternal youth by drinking the blood of other women, especially those who are pregnant. All of it belongs to the underworld. But for us, for the demon hunters, there is no underworld. There are only species, biological organisms, and the laws of nature still apply to them. So let us examine the Kuyang, Homo visceralis noctivagus. These environments are not random. High humidity and elevated atmospheric ion levels appear to support the stability of its exposed organic plasma tissue. It thrives where the air is heavy, where moisture clings to the skin. Its preferred habitat maintains air humidity above 80%, with night temperatures between 23 to 27 degrees Celsius. Such conditions preserve tissue hydration and reduce metabolic stress. Because that is the integration phase. In this phase, it takes full human form. Its vital organs reintegrate into the body through bioplasmic reintegration. The tissue around its neck seals completely, covered by newly formed epithelial layers. It appears human. It works. It speaks. It interacts socially like anyone else. There is nothing unnatural on the surface. Yet during this phase, it experiences lucid dreams. Its consciousness splits into two existences. Electrical activity in the brain becomes unstable. One mind walks in daylight, the other waits in darkness. During this time, biological energy is stored within neural nodes in the medulla and within a folded bioluminescent vascular system wrapped around the upper spine. The body remains calm, normal, but it is only conserving power. When night falls, that energy is released. The Kuyang's brain remains the primary control center. However, the cerebellum and medulla oblongata show abnormal expansion, forming additional tissue resembling biological electrical nodes. This structure is called the neuroplasm node, functioning to replace signals previously transmitted through the spinal cord. In other words, the Kuyang develops a new autonomous nervous system capable of regulating organ positioning, balance, and aerial orientation. Brainwave readings show a constant high frequency, 13 to 17 Hz, a condition in humans associated with lucid dreaming. This suggests that Kuyang consciousness operates in a semi-aware, semi-instinctive state between dream and biological reality. And when night falls, around 7 p.m., everything begins. There is a drastic rise in electromagnetic activity within the neck tissue. An enzymatic reaction, plasmorphase K, dissolves the bonds of epithelial cells. The bioluminescent tissue begins to stretch. Within minutes, the head and vital organs detach from the rest of the body without causing biological death. The remaining human body stays alive but enters a light coma. Brain activity drops to near zero. This is known as the body dormancy phase. What has always been called mysticism, what villagers fear as black magic, can be explained as temporary biological hibernation. The body sleeps. The predator awakens. The bioluminescent tissue ignites, forming an electromagnetic field that enables levitation, similar to localized ionization effects in light plasma. In this phase, its metabolism increases by up to 500%. Energy depletes rapidly. This forces the Kuyang to hunt fresh sources of hemoglobin to restore its reserves. Consumption occurs through direct contact with human blood. Hemoglobin is absorbed and broken down by the enzyme ferrolysis, which converts chemical energy into biological electrical charge. Each feeding session can extend the active phase for up to 6 hours. The Kuyang's sense of smell is extremely sensitive to pheromones and fresh blood. That is why its victims are often women or injured individuals. When energy levels drop below the 10% threshold, the organs begin to lose synchronization. Levitation becomes unstable. At this point, the Kuyang must return to its original body immediately, before the entire system collapses. At the base of the brain lies an additional sensory organ, similar to the Jacobson's organ in snakes, but far more complex. This receptor allows detection of ion changes in the air, such as weak electrical fields generated by human blood flow or heartbeat, at distances up to 300 meters. Navigation likely utilizes magnetoreception, using magnetite particles within ferrocellular tissue to orient direction like a biological compass. The combination of these sensors explains how the creature can find its victims even in total darkness. The lungs function only partially. The Kuyang no longer breathes like a human, but uses a semi-osmotic respiration system, where oxygen is absorbed directly through moist tissues surrounding its organs. Organ surfaces are coated in a semi-transparent membrane called epidermoplasma, containing a hydrophilic mucus layer capable of absorbing water vapor from the air. This structure allows direct diffusion of oxygen and moisture, a form of osmotic respiration similar to some amphibian species. This is why Kuyang requires humid environments to prevent dehydration of exposed tissues. During flight, fast-moving air passes through open lung cavities, producing a hissing sound, interpreted by locals as a sign of its presence. The most unusual feature is the tissue replacing the neck, a cluster of glowing organic fibers 20 to 30 centimeters long. Microscopically, it consists of neuron-like cells mixed with muscle myofibrils, creating a tissue that is both conductive and elastic. When active, it pulses in rhythm with the heart, emitting a faint red glow caused by electrolyte reactions with air. This reaction creates the phenomenon locals describe as a floating firehead. Without a full body, the heart no longer pumps blood across a large vascular network. Instead, it produces small electromagnetic impulses distributed through fiber tissues, generating a local field that keeps organs structurally connected. The bioluminescent fibers serve dual roles: fluid conduits, microelectrical energy conductors. The fluid within them is not pure blood, but a mixture of plasma, protein, and ferrofluid-like magnetic compounds that stabilize organ position mid-air and regulate active plasma temperature. Each time the electromagnetic field activates, modified iron particles generate internal heat, sufficient to maintain normal enzymatic function. When energy declines, tissue weakens, and organs destabilize. Therefore, fresh blood is required to recharge the system. The mouth and pharynx are primary energy absorption organs. Kuyang does not suck blood, but performs open hemolysis. Hemoglobin is absorbed directly through mucosal contact beneath the jaw. Enzymes in its mucus break down blood proteins into energy particles delivered directly into fiber networks. This allows survival without a complete digestive system. Instead of expelling waste as liquid, Kuyang converts nitrogen and carbon waste into charged particles released as faint light emissions. This process is called ionized waste dissipation, metabolizing waste into light energy. As dawn approaches, the Kuyang's electromagnetic activity begins to weaken, following the shift in air humidity. It searches for its original body through bioelectric resonance, a faint signal that matches only the unique frequency of its own body. When reintegration begins, the neck tissue rapidly regenerates a new epithelial layer at nearly 5 millimeters per second. In less than 10 minutes, head and body are fully joined again. After fusion, the body remains weak for 2 to 3 hours. The remaining electrical energy is stored once more. waiting for the next phase. Kuyang produces a strong antibacterial compound called necrostatin K, preventing tissue decay by up to 95%. This keeps organs fresh despite exposure to humid air. The fluid is mildly corrosive to living tissue, allowing rapid dissolution of victim tissue during feeding. When energy drops drastically, Kuyang enters cryptostasis, reducing biological activity to 2% of normal. In this state, fiber light dims, movement ceases. After obtaining fresh blood, full function returns in under 2 minutes. Each Kuyang cell is capable of autoreplication without DNA degradation. Most unusual is the presence of a dual nucleus in each cell. Primary nucleus regulates normal metabolism. Secondary nucleus stores a backup genetic map. When cells are damaged, the secondary nucleus repairs DNA within seconds. Unlike humans, limited by the Hayflick limit, Kuyang cells appear to have constantly active telomerase, preventing genetic aging. Instead, it transmits its biological condition through blood contact or bioplasmic enzymes. An infected subject undergoes gradual changes within neural tissue and blood metabolism. This phenomenon is known as the bioinheritance phenomenon. During this process, human DNA begins to adapt to a distinct energy pattern, K-01. Over time, a new generation may emerge, capable of undergoing organ separation, but most cases fail. The human body cannot withstand the electromagnetic pressure during the separation process. The result is sudden, spontaneous death. Not everyone can become a Kuyang. Only those whose biology survives the transformation. In certain cases, if the Kuyang fails to return to its original body before sunrise, the exposed tissue begins to dry and decay. Yet the brain remains active for several hours. This creates a stranded entity, a drifting head, low in energy, slowly fading without direction. Some researchers believe that reports of a burning head in the sky are actually the result of this failed phase, not a complete living creature, but residual bioplasmic energy evaporating into the air. The entire cycle lasts between 24 to 36 hours, depending on environment, temperature, and the availability of fresh blood. This phenomenon places the Kuyang among the most anomalous life forms ever recorded, standing on the threshold between biological organism and energy entity. If understanding the Kuyang from a biological perspective already makes you shiver, then learning how to fight it will make you realize how fragile humans truly are. Many novice hunters sweep through forests, sniff the air, or follow tracks. All of it is useless. The dormant body has no smell, holds no warmth, does not move, can be hidden in a gap only 15 to 20 centimeters wide, can even be wrapped to resemble an ordinary cloth bag. This is why experienced hunters always say, if you have already found the body, it is most likely because it wanted you to find it. And that rarely means something good. Many believe the Kuyang's body, lying there, is weak, silent, headless, just harmless flesh, until they touch it and scream. The dormant skin carries active pathogens, regenerative mucus that can crawl through microwounds, even through a scratch as small as the edge of a fingernail. A single touch can trigger a hematophagic infection, causing your own blood to begin consuming you from within. And worse, that touch can wake it up. The body will twitch slowly, then harden like heated iron, and then, in a single burst of energy, the head will return. The reintegration takes only seconds, but the burst of force during redocking is so violent that even experienced hunters have been thrown like rag dolls. That is why the first protocol is always the same. Ensure the head is at least 800 meters away from the body. Not less, not an estimate, people die because they guess. The Kuyang's head is not just an organ, it is an aerial predator. When it floats, its face appears empty, but the organs hanging beneath it move like hunting tentacles. Its acceleration is brutal, zigzag movement, sudden stops, then a strike like a starving eagle. Its bite can tear tissue as tough as bovine tendon. Its exposed organs can lash against your skin, delivering a biological toxin that still has no name. The safest moment to strike is when it hovers motionless, it fails to evade, or just after it has absorbed blood and its nervous system is still overloaded. To create that opening, hunters use light. The Kuyang hates intense light, especially the UV spectrum. It will freeze for a fraction of a second, just enough time for the brave to act. Added to that, herbal smoke pellets, biological flashbangs, both disrupt its orientation for approximately 1.2 seconds. That is the most expensive window in the world, the window of opportunity. Its heart, stomach, and small intestine may look like passive organs. They are not. They are biological weapons. If even one of them touches your skin, it feels like being thrown into a nest of fire ants, instant irritation, burning like an open wound, and a risk of infection that can consume your tissue within hours. Veteran hunters call them flesh whips that steal your life piece by piece. The Kuyang's power core, the plasma heart. As long as its body remains intact, the Kuyang is almost impossible to kill. Its head can be shot, its organs can be cut, its body can be wounded, but its regeneration system will seal those injuries within minutes. That is why hunters use weapons designed to target the energy core itself. Spectral bolt, Keris, Luwong, Obsidian, Naraka caliber rounds from the Arjuna 7 Mandragani. When the plasma heart is disrupted, the Kuyang's light extinguishes instantly. It trembles, like a broken lamp flickering its last spark, then collapses to the ground with a wet impact that shakes human instinct. But the battle is not over. The Kuyang can still partially regenerate, sometimes enough to launch one final distorted attack. So the final step is the most important. Spray saline solution, stop any remaining movement, then destroy the plasma core completely. Only then does its biological cycle end. It lives without a body, feeds without digestion, regenerates without aging, and the final question is always the same. Is this the peak of natural biotechnology, or proof that humanity still does not understand the darker side of its own biology? Science calls it an anomaly, myth calls it a curse, and perhaps both are true.